everyone, welcome to Reaching for the Moon. Today I got a very personal story to share with you. The sixth and final Apollo landing mission began with the December 7th, 1972 launch of the Apollo 17 spacecraft. Thousands of spectators assembled along the beaches near Kennedy Space Center to view the launch. It was the first night launch of the American human spaceflight program. The giant Saturn V rocket lifted off from Launch Pad 39A and lit up the sky at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The commander was Eugene Cernan. The command module pilot was Ronald E. Evans, and the lunar pilot was Harrison Jack Schmitt. Jack was the first trained geologist to travel to the moon. The three astronauts rode the Pillar of Flame into a parking orbit around the Earth before continuing on to the moon. Needless to say, Apollo 17 was a total success, and we're here today to celebrate its 50th anniversary. Unfortunately, it was the last time one of our astronauts would visit the moon. Moving forward in time, Naples, Florida, where Sandy and I live, is host to an annual international film festival. The Naples International Film Festival is a place for film lovers to connect, exchange ideas, celebrate the art of film in a friendly, welcoming environment. The festivity typically screens more than 60 films over 4 days, introducing the best of independent cinema and dozens of talented filmmakers to our community. The full-length documentary feature, The Last Man on the Moon, was selected to open the 2015 Naples International Film Festival at the Red Carpet Gala Thursday evening, November 5th at Artist Naples. Gene Cernan, astronaut who was commander of Apollo 17 mission and the last man to walk on the moon, would be in attendance. After the screening, director Mark Craig and Apollo 7 commander Gene Cernan took the stage for a question and answer session with a sold-out audience. However, prior to the screening, a private meet and greet with Gene Cernan was held in a private room at the Artist Naples. Sandy and I were invited, and of course, we attended the event. We walked up to Gene, and I reintroduced myself to him. We had not seen him for more than 50 years. I said, "Hello, Gene. I'm Ed Grace of MIT Draper Labs." Gene immediately said to Sandy and me, "Hi, do you remember the last time we spoke?" I replied, "Gene, I don't remember who I was just speaking to in the hall before we came into this room." Gene replied, "It was on Apollo 13. I was in the Apollo 13 simulator at Houston's Johnson Space Center. Apollo 13 had an oxygen tank explode on the way to the moon. As such, the three astronauts had survived 3 days living in the lunar module after powering off the command module to save power for the re-entry. Mission Control Houston was getting prepared to power the command module back up for its re-entry, and we were testing the procedure before sending the power-up sequence to Jim Lovell and his Apollo 13 crew. I was reading each step of the power-up sequence, which we had written on the fly in Houston, to Gene, and he was executing the steps in the command module simulator to make sure our procedure was correct. Sandy and I were dumbfounded. How could he remember that for so long? It was over 50 years ago. Needless to say, we had a nice chat with Gene before showing the film. Naples News ran a nice story about our meeting, as you can now see a photo from the paper, as well as Gene's autograph, which we obtained on an Apollo book. Unfortunately, Gene Cernan died in January of 2017 at the age of 82. Here's a short video with a message from Gene.
Walking up the ladder was probably one of the most memorable moments for me because I looked down at my footprints and I knew I wasn't coming this way again. Why were we here? What did it mean? I looked over my shoulder and there's the earth, there's reality, there's home. I wanted to press the freeze button. I wanted to stop time. I really wanted to reach out, put it in my hand, stick it in my space and bring it home and show it to everybody. This is what it feels like. This is what it looks like.
Apollo 17's 50th anniversary, now history. Sadly, we've come to the end of all the Apollo 50th anniversary celebrations. Hopefully very soon we're going to start a new series of Artemis moon landings that will be celebrated. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button to receive an email every time Reaching for the Moon posts a new video. Thank you for watching, and remember always, failure is not an option. Bye.